US and Russia have both said that they are committed to avoiding direct conflict. However, incidents like the one on Tuesday highlight the potential for The Russian Navy has not commented on it, as the US about Russia's military presence in the Mediterranean Sea. Two U.S. aircraft carriers are currently monitoring the situation in the Mediterranean Sea, and they are among the most powerful warships in the world. The deployment of the two carriers is a signal of the U.S. commitment to its allies in the region, and it is also a warning to any potential adversaries. The carriers can carry up to 90 aircraft each, including fighter jets, bombers, and helicopters. This gives the U.S. the ability to project power anywhere in the Mediterranean Sea at a moment's notice. The deployment of the two carriers comes at a time of heightened tensions in the region. Russia has been increased. Clear message to both Russia and China that the U.S. is not willing to give up its influence in the Mediterranean Sea. The carriers are a powerful deterrent to any aggression from either country.
To close the distance began to buzz American warships, flying just 200 feet over the flight deck of the USS Thomas Hudner, enough to rattle antennae and send unsecured deck gear clattering. Still, the Americans held the line. No launch orders were given, no counterjamming, not yet, because the US Navy doesn't react out of fear. It responds with strategy, and the Russians were walking like lightning through a storm cloud. Launch the air wing. Within seconds, the flight deck of the USS Gerald R. Ford ignited into a coordinated inferno of steam, steel, and afterburners. 4 FA-18E Super Hornets from VFA 211. Fighting checkmates screamed off the deck, one every 47 seconds. Fully loaded with AIM-120D AMRAAMs, AIM-9X Sidewinders, and 2,000-pound JDAMs. They weren't launching a strike, not yet. They were showing the Russians what American readiness really looked like. Two EA-18G Growlers from VAQ-140 Patriots entered the battle space, activating their ALQ-249 jamming pods. Within 30 seconds, Russian radar screens began bleeding false returns. 4 American fighters became 12, then 20, then ghosts. The Su-30SM pilots, lacking AESA radars and real-time data links, had only one way to fight: voice commands and guesswork. The Super Hornets didn't just fly, they dominated. Their APG-79 AESA friendly via Link 16. The Su-30s, by contrast, were locked into Soviet-era radar systems scanning back and forth like World War II searchlights. 0741 a.m. A Russian fighter entered missile range. One Super Hornet locked on, tone solid. The AIM-120D, with a 100-plus nautical mile range, was ready to launch. But again, restraint, because the real attack was invisible.
Submarine ram a U.S. aircraft carrier. On March 21, 1984, the Soviet nuclear-powered submarine K-314 surfaced to periscope depth in the Sea of Japan after losing track of a major target, the 88,000-ton American aircraft carrier USS Kitty Hawk. For an entire week, the K-314 had been shadowing the carrier, which was conducting joint exercises with the South Korean Navy. The Soviet submarine had been assigned to keep a close watch on the carrier. This incident marked one of the rare Cold War-era encounters between American and Soviet naval forces.
What happens if a Russian submarine rams a U.S. aircraft carrier? In 1984, during a United States and Korean military exercise, the USS Kitty Hawk and its carrier strike group entered the Sea of Japan. The Soviet Union sent the K-314 114 submarine to track the American ships. For a week, the Soviet sub followed the USS Kitty Hawk as the U.S. Navy tried to evade it, but nothing could have prepared the Navy for what happened on March 20th. Due to bad weather, the submarine lost track of the carrier and surfaced. Through the periscope, the Soviet captain saw the entire carrier group only 5 kilometers away. Both the submarine and the carrier were headed straight for each other. The Soviet captain ordered the sub to submerge, but it was too late. The submarine and the USS Kitty Hawk collided. At first, the Soviet crew feared that the submarine was severely damaged, but after inspecting it, they found no leaks. But the USS Kitty Hawk had a hole in its bow that caused a fuel leak. Luckily, both sides avoided a major disaster.